DJ will kick the floor in 3, 2, 1.
On the troll.
Hello and welcome to Mzansi. We're back again. It is that time of the night where we have to discuss what happened in court. There's a lot that happened, more so during the end of Vivian Cronje's statement, cross-examination, which we're going to look at, obviously. And if you are looking for the case, for those who purposely forget that the case is playing in SABC 1, please go there. Don't come here and tell us whatever that you want to tell us. I mean, there are many people who just have time, but I'm not going to address them. I'm just going to give them that information. Perhaps they forgot that there's a SABC 1. So don't come here and tell us that.
Not SABC 1, SABC, right here on
this
SABC,
yes. Yeah, there's a person, I think he was drunk, or she was drunk, and she was like, why are you saying this? Because they're telling us in court. Yes, they're telling you in court. Why are you watching our channel knowing that this is Mzansi and you have read everything?
For a long time.
Been doing this for a long time. And someone comes and say, hey, this is the case. Hey, we don't care.
Now, this is a court of public opinion.
Yes,
okay?
That's what we do here.
It's unhinged here.
So don't come here and maybe when you felt that the Quran is working, then you start coming and talking rubbish. That is only for that person who's, I felt that he was stupid. Yeah, Emily, let us shoot.
Hi guys, welcome back to the Mzansi Reality YouTube channel. Thank you so much for joining us yet again for another deliberation on the Senzo Meyiwa trial. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you're a returning subscriber, hey, welcome back. And please don't forget to press that like button, okay? And yes, so later on, we open the lines for you guys to call in and share your opinions after we are done deliberating. And thank you so much for all of you guys who've been supporting the platform, watching the videos, and even commenting, because it's really helping. You know, we're getting educated. I feel like by the end of this trial, most of us will be lawyers just without certificates. Lawyers and advocates and whatnot. But if you have a passion for law, then after this trial,
you'll probably be more convinced or be less convinced.
Yeah, go for it and just do what you have to do. I see a lot of people are even bashing the law profession and whatnot. But the more good people, the better, hey? The more good people, the better. We shouldn't give up, you know. Don't give up. We know that, but yeah. And today, Magistrate Vivian Cronje, who took down accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi's confession on the 24th of June 2020, was back on the stand this morning to continue her cross-examination by the defense counsel. Also was expected today for the defense to argue for the admissibility of the confession statements, pointing out as well as warning statements by accused 3, 4, and 5. So Advocate Charles Mnisi and Advocate Zitulele Nxumalo had no questions for the witness. So this kind of surprised me. I was like, why don't you guys have questions for the dear magistrate? Is it because your accused are not affected? Or maybe you just want, to rush the process and be like, next witness. As long as your accused are not implicated, there's no need to waste time.
Oh, all the issues were dealt with. There was no need to cross-examine on the issues that have been exhausted. So there was no need actually for them to actually stand up. I'm happy that they are able to read the room. I'm happy about that. I don't care what other people are saying. From what I saw and what I heard from Gomezul, there was no need to cross-examine.
Okay, so I was happy with Advocate Mshololo's cross-examination because I feel like she dealt with things that I was mostly concerned about. So let's go through it. Advocate Zandile Mshololo began focusing on the witness's testimony on the presence of armed Metro police officers when she arrived at the Boksburg Magistrates Court. Cronje said it was not the first time she had taken down a confession from someone who had been brought by the Metro Police. She said it was the first time she had seen heavily armed police officers bring such a person, because previously she'd been in her office. So this is what Cronje told the court today, that, you know what, I'm not used to seeing this heavy armed police presence. Usually the people who are due for confessions are brought to my office. Okay, so this time around she had to go to Boksburg.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it? I mean, the whole magistrate was taken more than 50 plus confessions. She has never seen the people accompanying those people to come and testify. That raises a lot of questions to say. I mean, so you wouldn't be able to read the room in any case, whether these people are forced or not. As long as they are thrown to you, and your job is to do what you need to do. And however, it doesn't matter whether law was broken or not. It doesn't matter. You take whatever confession that you need to take.
I feel like she forgot, Advocate Mshololo forgot that I didn't feel safe part. I feel like she should have incorporated it as well in her cross-examination. That why did you not feel safe? You said it was for your own safety. Why did you feel unsafe? So, yeah. So, Cronje said that this was the first time that she had come from outside for a confession. On other occasions, she would be in the office and the person would be brought to her. But the officer accompanying the person would come into the office with the person. So, Mshololo then asked, and when you asked for their appointment certificates, they disappeared, these Metro Police officers. And Cronje said yes. Mshololo asked, you have testified that you didn't make a copy of the fidelity certificate of the so-called lawyer of accused number 2. Did you ask which law firm he was from to establish if he was an attorney? And Cronje said, I did not ask. He was an attorney from what I saw on the fidelity certificate. So Mshololo then asked, you didn't even ask for the mandate from that attorney? And Cronje said, I did not ask him for any mandate. He just said he was Ntanzi's lawyer. Cronje said she did not check whether Mr. Mjiako, who had accompanied Mr. Ntanzi on that day, was a practicing lawyer, and she had not asked for a written mandate from him to be there. She said Ntanzi had confirmed Mjiako was his lawyer. So him confirming it was enough.
Yeah.
He could have been a police officer. He could have been a random person from the street. He could have been just a person. Or he could have been involved in the alleged torture of Ntanzi. Who knows? But not getting copies of those fidelity certificates and the letter of appointment, it's baffling to me. It's baffling to me. So Mshololo then asked, Mr. Ntanzi was reporting to you that he had not been taken to court in 48 hours. And Cronje said he was arrested on the 16th of June 2020 and he didn't know what's going on and where he needed to appear in court. And he said to me, I didn't understand what was going on. He said he was supposed to have appeared before court. So I decided to come to court. I contacted my lawyer and asked him that we come to court. Apparently, this is what Ntanzi told Mrs. Cronje. Mshololo then said it shows. So,
just not browsing through that, what Ntanzi is literally saying, or what Cronje is literally saying, is that Ntanzi knew the law to that extent of saying, I am bringing myself to court because I know within 48 hours I must have been charged, or I must have been appeared before the magistrate. But when it comes to anything else, Ntanzi is found wandering. You need an interpreter, you need all these other things. It was surprising for me.
It was.
So Ntanzi, without a lawyer, decided to call a lawyer because he knew something was wrong.
And yet she didn't care, did she? There wasn't her concern. She was there to take a confession. That's her job.
Yes.
The well-being of the people she's taking confessions from is not her concern.
Seemingly. This is how it seems.
So yeah, it was very interesting. This testimony has been interesting to me. Because you think that if the police are not to be trusted, at least you can trust the magistrate. At least you can burst. If you've been tortured, you can burst. But then every time you hint, the magistrate looks like she doesn't care. What do? Maybe you start assuming in your head, maybe she's part of these people.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
You let it go. You're like, whatever will be, will be. Let me just get this over and done with. Maybe I'll live. Maybe I'll survive.
Exactly.
Yeah. Mshololo then said it shows that he was complaining to you about being arrested on the 16th of June. And Cronje said that's correct. Then why didn't you do anything, ma'am? Anything at all?
Eventually admit that this might have been omitted.
And she even said that she went to Mrs. Steenkamp, her senior, and she told her some of the grievances that Ntanzi had during the confession.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened. And it was very interesting when Mshololo was asking her for how many years of experience does she have. And she said, I've been a magistrate since 1996. So she literally had to count the number of years she's been a magistrate in the court. After counting, she came that it's been 27 years. 27 years of being a magistrate, and you overlook so many things when it came to Ntanzi's confession. It's very interesting. Now I have to wonder about all these other confessions.
Oh yeah, just maybe being used for such cases.
How sad. Then Cronje said, that's correct. Mshololo said, what did you understand by someone saying they were in detention for 8 days without going to court? Then Cronje said, I saw that and considered it to be an irregularity. So basically, she didn't do anything as well about this. She just considered it to be an irregularity. So Mshololo asked, why did you proceed with someone who was in an unlawful detention? And Cronje said he was represented at the time and he was saying something that was coming from him at the time. I also did not deem it necessary to bring the process to a halt. Why? You are a magistrate. Isn't she a magistrate?
That's what she's telling us.
Remember Senzo Meyiwa on that other interview he had with ENCA where he was saying that a certain brigadier had went to Peter Maritzburg court and went with somebody to confess to the ending of Senzo Meyiwa. And that magistrate said, you know what, this story is not adding up. This is nonsense. And he chased them away and threw the case off the roll, the confession out of the court, because he could see that it's madness, you know. And maybe he asked certain questions and that person could not even answer them, and he could see that this person really, is this a joke? And he chased them out. Do you understand? So she did have the author, in my opinion, she had the ability to put this whole thing to a halt.
Yes.
And I don't know why she's saying that she didn't. She's a magistrate.
She did. She's giving vibes of, I just do what I need to do.
Or I do what I'm told.
What I'm told to do.
Then Mshololo said, after telling you he was in an unlawful detention, what did you do as a magistrate? What did you do as a magistrate? Cronje's answer is that it was not in my powers to release him. Why, magistrate? Magistrate, why?
Yes, it might have not been in her power to release, but it might have been in her power to not continue with the confession.
Mshololo then asked, but it was in your powers not to continue taking a statement from someone who was in illegal detention. And Cronje said it was not up to her to release the accused for being in an unlawful detention, and that at the time she had not heard the other side of the story to what Ntanzi had said about his arrest. Mshololo then asked, do you agree when someone is injured, they could be visible and non-visible scars or injuries? So you can't tell if he was assaulted. And Cronje said that's correct. Well, Mshololo concluded her cross-examination of the witness, and the state re-examined the witness. Now, this is what was my favorite part of the whole entire day. Mgomezulu said that they made a mistake during Cronje's evidence in chief by allowing the state to address the witness in Afrikaans because that denies them an opportunity to object. The judge said that the interpreter is there for that. Mshololo begged to differ. She begged to differ with the judge, saying that the witness could testify in the language of her own, but the state is obliged to address the witness in English, as it was the case with other witnesses who spoke in other languages previously. So Advocate Judge Baloyi had to switch to English. I was happy about that.
I saw that, and I've been ignoring this issue of Africans. And not that
it's because some people
are undermining
are sensitive.
their language.
Yes.
Other people are sensitive. But let us not, as per President Zuma, we cannot change the history. Afrikaans is a language that came with colony, and then what happened there, it was in South Africa enforced. So to see someone getting excited about it, even sort of alleging that if you are a lawyer, you cannot, during his time, you couldn't practice if you didn't know Afrikaans, if you couldn't speak Afrikaans. It makes me wonder what kind of a person this person is. Is he an apologist of note or something? Because, I mean, honestly speaking, that's an issue that didn't even need you to object to that.
Inferiority complex.
Yes, because there are many witnesses that have been testifying in Zulu, in Sotho. These people could speak those languages.
Mshololo can speak isiZulu.
Yes.
All of them, in fact. Ramasepili can speak, I don't know whether it's Setswana or Sesotho or
Yes.
Sepedi,
But you never fought for that to happen. And then now, because there's Yefro in front of you,
a lawyer all of a sudden switches his dialect.
in fact, I would go as further as saying that there was no need for an interpreter to fast forward the process. Why I'm saying that, this is a magistrate that presides in court cases that are presented in English. Majority of them.
Do them in English.
Yes. And that being said, I doubt that there is an interpreter that will interpret in Afrikaans to her. She comprehends English and she answers in English.
Yes.
Do you understand? You could have answered in your own language, which is Afrikaans, but to focus on Afrikaans and Baloyi also accommodating you, why are we not accommodating these other Zulu, Sotho-speaking people the same way?
Why?
Why?
Must we always over-exert
Why must we
ourselves?
over? Yes. Why? Why should we go over on a board on when it comes
I
to?
saw the comments, but you have to admit that there's a lot of history behind this. You can't just move swiftly as if we're in 1977 and you are the only black person in the room. No.
And you
Those
find
days are
yourself
over.
apologizing for this thing. Hey, I told you. The judge decided to mishear the objection of Ngomezu. You see, that's a problem. If you've been clobbered,
He did a lot of that today.
if you've been clobbered properly by someone, now you come with a certain vendetta to try to have remedy of that, and now you end up objecting to even nonsensical stuff.
Today on I, he was objecting a lot of
And then
Ngomezu's
up
point
until
and
Mshololo
choosing
would
to miss-
object and say, but objection, my lord. And now you decide to hear exactly what Mngomezulu was saying.
Exactly.
Exactly.
He
Nothing
just
changes.
decided to fly over the head. He knew that was wrong, but he entertained it.
So I would stretch this as further as saying that if this man would go this far in trying to accommodate this person, isn't that saying that whatever this person is saying, regardless of whether it sounds less truthful or more truthful, it is going to become the truth of the matter? Because you feel that person is more credible, because you feel that person is your superior, or I don't know.
That's what it's giving. It's not giving fair. It's not giving justice.
You
it's
throw
giving,
fairness on the ocean.
It's giving, let
You-
me
you
soft her up. Let me speak to her heart by speaking her language.
Do you understand?
Let me humble myself before her. That's what it's giving. You know, it didn't have to. You didn't have to cross-examine or examine her in Afrikaans. There was no need. You were supposed to continue with your English and let her speak her Afrikaans if she wants to.
Because when it comes to objecting there, translation is merely a summary.
Yes.
Sometimes we have heard how many times we have been on Jonas's case saying that he's not interpreting
He's
wrong.
not,
Even
yeah.
with the guy that works with Jonas.
Yes.
In this case, we have a problem
Yes.
that they are interpreting their own thing.
Thing.
Because they are not. For example, most people who come there are native Zulu speaking. They are not at that level. They just know it in a light way.
Basic
Yes.
way.
So that person interpreting, a lot of things can be misinterpreted.
Lost
And
in
I'm even
translation.
surprised that there's a law that says that whatever that is interpreted is directly interpreted.
And it is correct on the record.
Is this
That law
correct on the
shocked
record?
me, hey? It really surprised me because I'm like, a lot of things get lost in interpretation by these
Or they are saying it
interpreters.
is correct on the record because it is said by the person who's testifying the way.
Perhaps.
But
So-
how long will it take you to correct those mistakes? Even if you are going to
and
object
even
on something,
if you're gonna say it was captured correctly on the record, how does it have an impact on the people that are in the case?
even on the case itself,
Those who can't
how
hear
does it
the
does it
witness.
help you to come to a conclusion? Because it's not like you are going to go now all of a sudden and listen to these things. You are writing the notes so that you can pick the things that you need and make the judgment. An objection that could have happened on a direct speaking from translation might be lighter. Translation might make things seem okay. Do you understand? But saying it in English, in a language that everyone can understand in this case, not to say that we are glorifying English. It is by no
But
means.
it's a majority
yes.
of that one
And that's how
language.
this proceeding has been conducted.
Yes, it's that one language that a majority of people can hear and comprehend versus
So I will
Afrikaans.
go as far as saying that this Afrikaans situation was just meant to sort of reduce what we hear as people, so that when the conclusion comes, it becomes, oh, okay, it's okay. Because we didn't hear most of what...
Only the judge
yes.
and Baloyi could hear, and the interpreter could hear that Miss Cronje.
I can't even say that the judge is well conversed on Afrikaans.
Why?
He seems he was found wandering most of the time. He's not as fluent as Baloyi, for example.
Oh, that's interesting. I thought he was fluent because he was encouraging it. I'm like, what about the others who not necessarily can hear what is being said? I mean, especially the accused. I felt like, this is not right. Imagine if Mshololo were to cross-examine in isiZulu. How would that go? How would that be?
It would be a mess.
So for those who've been saying blah, blah, blah in the comment section, I'm happy this happened, okay? Now we can move on. English, state English. So, and another thing that was kind of a highlight from his re-examination for me was when he was trying to, the part about the injuries, were they visible or internal injuries? Do you agree that injuries can be both visible and internal? And I'm like, what are you guys trying to do here? Because she has already testified under cross-examination with Ngomezulu that she's not a medical practitioner. She could not have seen internal injuries. All of a sudden in her re-examination, she wants to include internal injuries. So the state called Ms. Tepiso Motlaping. She's been an interpreter at the Boksburg Magistrate Court since 1997, and she was promoted to a position of a senior interpreter in 2005 and was appointed principal court interpreter in 2014. Motlaping said that Ntanzi appended his signature only after the completion of taking down his confession. She said she is the one who handed the pen to Ntanzi to initial all the pages and sign the document. Motlaping said, I was approached by the senior prosecutor with a request, and I waited until about 1400 hours because I was told they'd arrived at 1400 hours. And when I went to check if they had arrived, I established that they hadn't arrived yet. Motlaping said I was then called by the secretary to the senior prosecutor towards 1430, and then I proceeded to the room where the confession would take place.
That this witness, this one, she sounds more rehearsed.
Yeah, she did sound.
She sounds more like Zandi.
Yeah, she sounded also like Zandi. I heard people complimenting her voice, and I'm like,
no, forget about the coconut English.
She sounds
She
like
sounds
Zandi.
like Zandi.
She did sound like Zandi.
And she actually squandered some of the things.
Okay, I'm
just
sure
that,
you're gonna tell us what.
It's just that
are.
they didn't follow up on those things.
Now I felt like she was here to support.
Yes, she's obvious. That's what she does. She's a supporter.
That Ntanzi was he was willing, more than willing to speak, to confess. He was doing it with so much willingness. And I was like, yo. How would you know that, girl? You're interpreting. How would you know that Ntanzi was a willing confessor here?
For me, she sounded like Zandi.
Yeah, she did remind me of Zandi as well.
And the looking changes, if you notice, from Baloyi's face to this witness compared to Cronje. There's an uneasiness, and there's that eye, that big eye that keeps on losing there, checking. It's like I'm checking you.
Well, she also said, and as I came towards room 2, I saw a number of policemen standing outside the office. Motlaping said some of them were identifiable. They were Metro police officers in uniform and were standing outside room 2 on that passage. If they were unidentifiable, their names, did she see their name badges or something?
She said she identifies them with the uniform.
With the uniform. there was a person who was in handcuffs. And Mutlaping said there was also a gentleman who was standing next to those people, clad in a suit. He was also in the passage, slightly on the side from where the Metro Police
let me
was
make you
standing.
an example. Go and testify in court that you've seen Emily, that you've seen a person that you didn't know that eventually became Ntanzi. You wouldn't go around and saying there was a person,
In a
Ntanzi.
suit.
Okay, Ntanzi.
In a suit.
Yes, Ntanzi.
The person in a suit.
Yes.
The one who shall not
But this
be
thing
mentioned.
of trying to no, not the person. I'm talking about Ntanzi. There was a person in handcuffs.
Oh, a
Now we
person
have
in
to assume that
handcuffs.
was Ntanzi,
Yes.
right? Simple. A normal person who's testifying, who's got nothing to hide, who's straightforward. Simple. Ntanzi was on handcuffs. Done. You will be corrected by those lawyers who want nitty-gritties and the sources. But what makes these people
Give
look more
themselves
trained
away.
than anything is because of how they portray the evidence. A layperson who's just a layperson, because the fact that you are interpreting that doesn't mean that you know law. So now you're gonna tell us create the unknown person to up to a person that you eventually get to know. That is a lawyer.
Hi. Well, she said Magistrate Vivian Cronje, the gentleman in handcuffs and the man in a suit, entered the room, and she said Cronje also had a conversation with this man in a suit, who introduced himself as Ntanzi's lawyer, and Ntanzi also confirmed this. This is Mjiako, by the way, guys. We've talked about Mjiako in the previous live stream. So Mutlaping said that suspect was sitting to her right, Cronje facing them, and the suspect would then have have been to her left. The gentleman in a suit was sitting to her left because there was a couch in that room. She said she was in between the suspect and the man in the suit. So this witness was there basically to affirm that Ntanzi was not forced to confess, and that he was willing to confess. She said he looked like someone who wanted to speak.
Exactly
Said
the
he
same
looked
thing.
like he really wanted to speak.
Exactly the same thing that Cronje said. Exactly the same words.
Uthi even ngesizulu mangiyibheka wathi cha sisi ngifuna ukuqhubeka ngikhulume. Loosely translated, no ma'am, I really want to speak.
Do you understand? And where I find it very funny of how this whole process starts. She says Ntanzi was then accompanied to the room by the people. If you remember from Cronje's answer of why the police, one of the police went inside, it was only to hand a statement, and all of a sudden, so they got in that house twice now, because they pushed Ntanzi in, or they walked Ntanzi in, and then later on they had to come back for statements. It didn't sound like that from Cronje.
No.
It sounded like the only time they entered that house was when they had to hand over those whatever proofs of what is it called?
The certificate.
The certificate of these police. That's the only time. It just didn't make sense.
Mutlaping said that it's what Ntanzi said on the day he confessed to Magistrate Cronje. Well, there was a 15-minute adjournment, and when they returned, Ngomezulu started cross-examination of Mutlaping. Now, another thing that I would have liked in this instance, I heard her mentioning that she has been a court interpreter since 1997, and that she has been moved from being what to a senior or court interpreter. I would have wanted the establishment of the years that she got those titles. I wanted to see something. So Mgomezulu started with his cross-examination, and Mtlaping said that interpretation is about conveying the idea of the speaker, whereas translation is word for word, and it's normally done in documents. So what she said here is that her Cronje was writing her interpretations versus translations. On that statement, Cronje was writing what she was interpreting, what Bongani was saying. So, yeah. So what did you think about that part? Where they were asking about the examination, because there was a long adjournment, there was so much drama. They had to go, Jonas had to go and get the book that was going to assist Baloyi to argue. There was just a lot going on there for me, guys. And
I Jonas, they must just study law and stop this thing of being like run like puppies.
It was just a lot for me, and I'm like, what is going on? There were moments of silence. They were looking for something to back them up, and it's the judge who started all of this mess.
The chaos.
And Mgomezulu kept explaining that he's not asking about her appointment.
And the judge, I have a problem with this judge. He decides to hear what he wants to hear. And he insists on that. So now, when he's lecturing people, it's like being lectured on chapter 2 while you ask about chapter 1. You're not even lectured in that chapter 1. No. You are lectured in chapter 2. And he does this a lot.
Hey, a lot was going on there. Every time, it's like he was itching to kind of, not
prove that he's smarter than Mgomezulu. It looked like that. It looked like he was like he wanted to prove that actually I'm smarter than you. I feel like the social media bruised him, and he felt that I'm gonna show him today. I'm gonna show him, and there's nothing that happened actually. What you were doing is chapter 2 instead of chapter 1. You wasted time.
It wasted a lot of time.
And Jonas were running like puppies there, looking for something. Jonas here now comes with something totally different. He must go study law.
Even
in
when
his spare time.
He was reading it. He was like, what in the hell am I reading? How is this going to help me?
They must just fund that man in study law.
He went to the library. I went to the library, my lord. I'm like, Jonas,
so
what
you are
you
sitting
doing?
there in the library while we are waiting for you to interpret here.
He was looking for the book, and he came back with the
Who sent him to look for the book?
It's the judge. They even had an adjournment for Jonas to go fetch that book so that they could stop Mgomezulu.
Don't they have other people that they can send here? People who understand the section of that in the library.
Oh my goodness. I got the drama, guys. I don't want to lie. Like, I was like, what? What is happening? And then she was asked about the certificate of the interpreter. She did not explain to the witness before attaching her signature. She has no reason for not explaining. And Mutlaping said that she's never had to explain the certificate of interpreter. So the deponent could be curious as to what you are signing. And Mutlaping said, no, my lord. So she's denying that from her part, she needed to explain what she was signing, because there's a form that she also is required to sign as a translator. And that part was never explained to Ntanzi, and that's where Mgomezulu was going. Okay, and she was even asked to read the certificate and also interpret it for the benefit of accused number 2.
And then we are told
something she should have done on that day of the confession, but unfortunately.
And then we are told to collapse the cross-examination of this person who has shown that not only is she an interpreter, she's also a psychologist of some sort who can detect when people are eagerly
are
waiting to
itching
speak
to
and
confess.
itching to confess.
Thatha wena girl.
And all of a sudden, when you are being questioned and probed on that because you have opened that can of worms, and now all of a sudden you must be protected.
Well, the judge did interfere and he brought up the Criminal Procedure Act, the power enjoined to the interpreter who appoints the interpreter, because he could feel that's where Mgomezulu was going. And Mgomezulu said, I'm not contesting the appointment.
You could sangomarize this one.
With the attachment, I'm concerned about the interpretation with regards to the content made by the magistrate. That is where my concern is, not about her appointment. And then there were elements of a promise. The judge asked for the Magistrate Court Act. Baloyi had to look for it. It took some time. They still couldn't find it. Then there was a pause looking for this Magistrate Court Act, and Jonas was asked for a short adjournment to go for look for it.
This judge, it's true that when you get old, you become a baby.
Become a child.
Become a child.
It's true.
It looks like that. Only a child would do that, would keep the court waiting so that you can prove that you can prove nothing, basically. Because there was nothing that he proved. Because he was answering he was even interfering with the wrong information. So the whole court pauses for wrong information. I'm sitting there, I'm trying to fathom exactly, okay, why did we need to learn about this power that is invested in a magistrate court to appoint Obo Jonas? Why should we be learning about that? Because this woman voluntarily gave an expect testimony.
Yes.
It is an expect testimony. When you say that you are able to see certain things, I mean, we might as well go to that direction.
Yes. And they were stopping Mgomezulu from going there. And the judge read it and he said that if she interpreted whatever and it was recorded correctly, it becomes proof beyond reasonable doubt. I don't know what he was reading from, but that is what he literally was saying, that the interpreter can interpret whatever they interpret.
And it becomes proof beyond reasonable doubt.
And if it was recorded correctly, it becomes proof beyond reasonable doubt. Now, this scared me. I need to double check on that.
That's an effed up situation.
I don't know if I can trust what is being said here because it doesn't sound right. Do you understand, guys? Do you get me? It doesn't sound right.
It might be right, but where's the relevance? So what? If you interpret what is being said, actually, you can tell me you saw a red polo, and then I interpret. I say you saw a white polo. It's okay. Is that what they are saying? According to this, whatever, 1928 law.
So it looks like Mjiako is not going to be called.
No, it's not going to be called. It's not going to be called. All they can do is to ask for a transcript, I think, from that magistrate that Mjiako appeared on. That's all they can do, if there's any.
Well, the judge asked Jonas to give all whatever he came back with to Baloyi because he's already found it. And the passage is talking about court proceedings, not about what Mgomezulu was cross-examining on. That's what I picked up, that passage that he was reading had nothing to do with what Mgomezulu was cross-examining on. And then the judge said, Mr. Mgomezulu, you can go on the basis of what you wanted to go on to. Don't say I've cramped your style.
You have.
But you did cramp his style. How many minutes?
You have. The adrenaline that Ngomezulu had.
You totally
he just said, okay, it's fine.
Abolished, like you made him go flat. He literally
And the
was
thing,
like
what makes it even worse is that when he comes back, his arguments or his submissions are out of line. It's like you're being asked 1 + 1, you say 10.
Well, the judge did attempt to, I don't know what he was doing, but the questions that he was asking this Motlhaping felt like he was clearing.
That's what he does all the time. That's what he does all the
And
time.
he asked if she had any of her interpretations ever taken for appeal.
That's why I have a problem. Can they object to those questions?
Can't they?
Because the problem is that this man is claiming to be seeking clarity.
No,
But from
he's
the
not.
from
It's
what
on the record.
from what we are hearing, in my own opinion, this man is only putting a rubber stamp to say that
To assist
you were not
the
supposed to
state.
do that. Either way, you were not supposed to do that.
No, there must be a rule against the judge doing this.
No, you can object.
They find it?
You can object, but the judge will tell you, I have a right
No,
to.
it has to be found. I get he's a textbook person. Read it to him. Bring that textbook if you can find it.
The judge keeps on leading. these
Read
people.
it for him.
He's
and
been
say,
doing
the
it
judge,
since
you are interfering. We
since
have
Zandi
come across
Msholo,
this law.
since Zandi Kumalo and the rest of the people, and he does it with
With
those
the most
jokes.
defensive witnesses or
Yes.
the most hostile witnesses.
He does it with the most compromised witnesses.
Yes, he wants to polish things for them.
It
Every
looks like
time
that.
after they
It does look like
testify.
that, because he even say, he asked the stupid question. Maybe he would say, "Are you a lawyer?" to this one, and he say no. So you are not expected to know these things, right? What kind of clarity is that?
And then he read a case where a translator was accused of interpreting incorrectly. And she says that she was present for the entire 3 hours of that confession.
Basically, trying to say that there couldn't have been, Danzi couldn't have been coerced because you witness everything.
Everything in those 3 hours.
Judge.
Wenana.
Things that we were born yesterday, man. This doesn't need law to see to actually see
What
that
he's
you're
doing.
swaying your things the way you want to sway them. So by the time you come to your, that's why you shake when it's time for you to read your
Proper judgment.
Your judgment.
That's actually within the law.
Because you've
He's
been
shaking.
doing all these things now, so that I don't know, you create a certain narrative. Because it's not a clarity. What happens is you end up creating your own narrative that you most probably gonna believe it based on how you do things. From what I see, you I don't want to use the word narcissist, but it you believe in what you say.
Yes. And then another question he had, he said, was there a time Mr. Ntanzi queried the presence of the alleged legal representative? And this Motlhaping said, no, not at all, my lord, never. We have a problem there. Serious problem. Serious conundrum of a problem with our judge. It feels like he's polishing, for the state. He wants everything to align with that judgment that I allegedly think it's already done, waiting to be read. It's very disturbing and troubling. So yeah, Ntlaping concluded with her testimony, and there was the long adjournment. Now, the focus in the trial within a trial will now move from confession statements to the pointing out during the post-lunch proceedings. So this is starting accused number 1, Muzisbia, is understood to have taken to the crime scene following his arrest in May 2020, when he pointed out to the police what had transpired the day Senzo Meyiwa was shot and killed. The defense will again challenge the evidence. And Baloyi started off by saying the state intends to lead evidence on the pointings out in respect of accused 1. The admissibility thereof is challenged. Advocate Mngomezulu was laying the basis for the challenge. Mngomezulu said the accused was taken from Alberton to a certain place and then to the Basotho hostel in Vosloorus. He was assaulted and instructed to point out a certain place, and his constitutional rights were never read to him. Mngomezulu said he also says he signed the pro forma and he was forced to do so. The state called the Lieutenant Colonel Nkosi Khona James Hadebe. Hadebe said he signed out the suspect himself from the Alberton police station because no one was willing to sign the suspect out so that he could take him out and bring him back. Hadebe said after Sibiya had confirmed that he had been informed why he had been arrested, he said he was arrested for illegal substances. He said Sibiya's rights were explained to him. If he was arrested for illegal substances, why are you taking him to Vosloorus? Why are you taking him to go to Basotho hostel? Why are you doing all of these things? And what happened to his illegal substances case? Why was he not questioned or whatever you were doing with regards to what you arrested him for? What is going on? He said Sibiya's rights were explained to him. In relation to what? What you arrested him for, or what you were investigating while you had arrested him for another case. What rights pertaining to what case is what I need clarity on. Because this is very dodgy. You arrest someone for illegal substances, and then you are busy taking them to Vosloorus. You are going all over. You are making them sign confessions, pro farmers, busy nje with another situation, another case. But you arrested him for another case. Isn't that some kind of dodginess? I need clarity on that. So Hadebe said Sibiya was informed that he was not compelled to point out any scene or point or say anything. That's what he would point out and say he would be noted and photographs would be taken, which could later be used against him in court. Now this part, I don't think I believe that had. But then, if that's what he's saying, but I doubt, the circumstances already are shaky. Okay, you arrested him for something, and here you are taking him on destinations of another case. I don't know, maybe that's how the police work, but they need to give clarity on that because it's very confusing. Photos of Sibiya were shown in court, which were taken to show if there were any injuries to his body on the day of the pointings out. Hadebe said Sibiya confirmed that what he'd pointed out, what his version of what had taken place. Hadebe said his signature and thumbprint, he placed it on all pages. So Baloyi said, when was the signature appended and thumb imprinted? And Hadebe said, on the same day, my lord, the 5th of June. 2020. So it looks like accused number 1 was the one who was arrested first. Hadebe said this was done after everything. Baloyi then said, were photos taken on your return? And Hadebe said, indeed so, my lord. Photos were displayed in court. The state concluded leading the witness evidence in chief, and Advocate Mngomezulu started the cross-examination of the accused. So Hadebe conceded that there was no one who was with him and Sibiya in his office, and no one to corroborate what he says about what happened in that office. So the accused was transported from Valeria to Alberton, where he was assaulted and tortured. Any comment on that is Mngomezulu asking. And Hadebe said, "My lord, I have no comment on that, but I think he would have told me if that was the case." Why do they all like saying that? I think he would have told me. Cronje also said the same thing. I think he would have told me if he was being assaulted. Like, really? If Ntanzi felt like you all were playing for the same team, I highly doubt that he would have felt free to say such against your colleagues and your learned friends. It could not have been easy, in my opinion. So Mgomezulu said, "It is your evidence that no one signed or no one signed the accused out to you." And Hadebe said, "Yes." Mgomezulu said, "And there's no one who can corroborate that. And your reason for that is that you feared he could escape. And that's not a genuine reason." And then Hadebe said, "It is a genuine reason." Well then, guys, there was an adjournment. It was now, the time had lapsed. It was now time for the court to adjourn for the day. So I think now the lines can be opened. You guys can tell us what you think or thought of today's proceedings. Because yeah, it was a lot. I tried keeping it brief so that you guys have more time to call in and share your opinions. But for now, let me go through the chat and wait for you guys to call in. Let me go through the chat with you guys and see what you've been saying on that chat, because it was a lot today. Today it was a lot for me. I was like, Judge, I'm so disappointed. You don't want to stop this habit of yours, do you? You really don't want to stop this habit. We are tired. We are tired of reprimanding you over and over one thing, over the same thing. I think I'm tired. I'm exhausted at this point. So you guys, let me see what you're saying. Let me open the chat. We have a caller.
Yes, caller. Hello.
Hey, Mr. Anu.
Hello.
Hey, Mr. Anu. Good evening.
Hi.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're good.
I'm all right, man. Look, man, I just will need just clarity about something here. Those two cops who, remember, they took Ntanzi to Discretion for the first statement and confession.
Yes.
Yeah. So what I want to know is, as the judge said, they're not going to be cross-examined again unless it's a different story. So now I want to know, it looks like there's something dodgy here. As I understand, the confession needs to be taken in front of a magistrate,
Yes.
or a peacemaker,
Mm-hmm.
and then you need to be represented.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that wasn't done in Discretion, isn't it?
With accused number 1.
Yeah, that was not done in Discretion.
No.
And I'm seeing why the judge now saying they're not going to call those two cops again. So what I want to know is it against the law, or it's lawful, or is it correct for that to be done? But as I understand, the confession that was done in Boxburg,
Yes.
as they read the act, the laws and whatever, they said it needs to be done in front of the magistrate.
Yes.
Actually, I think it needs to be done in court or something. You need to be represented. That's why they said there was a legal
lawyer.
representative,
Yes.
a lawyer. That's right. And then remember, there there was not even an interpreter. Because remember, the forms are written in English. It needs to be written. Okay, as he says here, the one officer said he understands Zulu. Okay, it's fine about that. But is it how it goes to make a confession without a magistrate?
No wonder why it happened the way it happened with accused number 2, in my opinion.
They can still argue that, because what we have established is that if such thing happens, such as in accused number 1, that means there was a wrong procedure there. Yes. So there, since they refused for those people to come back, maybe I think knowingly that this is a situation that
it was not lawful.
Yes. This is where I have a problem with the judge. It's for the law when it suits him, but he is not for the law when it's against the state. This is a situation that was going to be against the state. And conveniently so, overnight, they changed the decision.
Yes. And you know what I think? I think we as public, I can see some other comments will say defense are weak, why didn't they ask this question, blah, blah. But I think those are reserved for argument. I think in terms of the argument, it's going to be difficult for the state to hold on this kind of thing if now the defense will come and raise the first confession, how it was taken. Because now it looks like the second confession, it was for the making up of the first confession in Soweto. But the guys were called in court. That means it's on record. So I think our defense is not weak because of such things. They can't just. I think maybe it's for their secret weapons. They are
maybe
way to get the state. Because now if they show the state that you did wrong there, then you see it you keep it like the way they refused with that statement.
Yes.
They said there's a certain content that they're gonna use later. And the judge was saying, no, why can't we see that? Why can't I see that? So I'm thinking that they're reserving everything for the argument. But I do believe that they've got some facts against the state here. They've got a lot of facts against the state. So many things went wrong. That shows that these guys really were tortured and were forced.
It's a blessing in disguise, and I don't think they left that on purpose. That's why they wanted to fetch them back. But it's a blessing. I'll tell you why. From this case, what we have learned is that if you open a loophole, a new witness comes and close that loophole. And I think I would assume this one, a judge would have came and said, I saw this statement. Something like that.
Yeah,
they have a broader scope, seemingly, to deal with a case that is being actually, I would call it a pre-trial. This looks like a pre-trial, but they're running it like a case, a proper trial.
That's right, yes. Oh, yes, yeah, that's right. No, man, I just wanted clarity on that because, I remember that, man. This guy, this time, the statement was taken, the confession in Soweto, but now I don't remember there was a peace officer or a judge or magistrate there conducting the what you call, But let's see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Yeah, have a good night's sleep, guys. Thank you very much for
you.
You too. Right. I swear I heard Miss Cronje saying, this thing. I swear I heard Miss Cronje saying to Baloyi that Ndanzi said the police told him to come and make a statement.
Yes.
You feel like you're hallucinating in this case, but yeah, she did.
She did.
Cronje was not fearing for her life. She knew exactly what she was doing. Judge Zenza Clever Ongeko, same as his Africans.
And this Motlaping person who says that she handed the pen, so she's affirming, yes, I was there, definitely. The pen. The pen, he used my pen to initial every page and sign. Didn't you find that suspicious?
Probably. I mean, I did find it suspicious. It's funny. It's funny how these things are happening, but we have to accept them. And at least we are seeing what this rotten law is doing.
It was very interesting in my opinion.
Yeah. Let us hear the next caller. Emily, continue the comments.
All right, guys, you can call in. The lines are open. Let's hear what you guys have to say. Well, let me go through the chat. How can you take a bribe if you're going to jail and even spend a cent? Doesn't make sense. This is net. Okay, guys, I don't know what you guys are talking about. Please inform me. What is happening? Well, docket 366 was not investigated at all. They are feeding from the defense. E.g., it was the revolver, the state rubbish, the Jiki Zungu sneaks in Ntanzi's bank statement. How comes his boss, Scooby? Yeah, it's giving that Mimi, Loliwe. It's giving very much that. It's giving that. Was there even a case? Like, how did it go through? How did that happen? It's giving very much that. I'm like, so much new stuff that is being brought up this year that was not brought up in the previous year. Okay, you're ringing. You rang for a very short time. Can you please call again? Caller, can you please call again? It rang for a very short time. Just when I was about to hold it, it just dropped. Well, let's go to the next comment. Mgaga says, Mgaga, exactly. Ntanzi and Sibia were most likely tortured and coerced to confess, but because that can't be proven, it is with evidence. Mzanzi Reality, hi.
Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good. Shoot, what did you want to say with regards to the case?
Yeah, but we are following this around the world. As you can see, my number is foreign, but I'm a South African anyway. But we are following this. But hey, there's so... Yes, I am. But hey, this case, man, there's so many questions than answers, yeah? Like, there's so many questions. If really they believe that those guys are the ones who killed Senzo, I believe there's a mastermind behind those guys there. They must bring that person to us. They cannot tell us that those professional Nkabis will go there and take S4 phones, So yes. I really don't believe that. But then, how this Mr. Kininga, I don't think Kininga is the producer of the sketch right now. I think there's a guy who called Sibia. If you can recall, at some point this guy was suspended or something like that. He was not a police officer. He was there from the first time. I think he's the one, because after he was suspended, then he roped in his friend Kininda, and then they started to build this thing against these guys, I seriously don't believe. When I'm listening to this, I have more questions than answers. And our judge, he feels a little bit chacharak with some other things.
Yes. As
you guys are saying, the judge, when he sees that this thing is against the prosecution, he's not happy. Like even I remember him just something. I remember him from that guy for DNA. I forgot his name. The judge was not happy. He was like trying to discredit that guy. And even if you can listen to that properly, he was even barking. He was even like as piggy, something as piggy himself. So like he was like wanting to tell us that but into that phase there you were there, and then that phase ziyahambelana nawe, which means but down the line again, he changed and say like fingerprint when you have to have 7 things if they are not 7 things. You know, I was like, I don't even see a point of him quoting that because the guy with the DNA was already saying something like that. For him to make that comment, I don't know why he was making it. But for me, man, this case. But here's the other thing that I think whether Ntanzi is guilty or not, yeah? Section 35 by Pulile, like a lot, there's been infringed. But like Ntanzi always, he didn't appear in court. You know, even the magistrate herself, we am recorder, and then each magistrate herself couldn't like take it up. Right, what more about Kininga? You understand? So those were the things that it's only the High Court in Pretoria that doesn't know that the police will beat you up to confess. And according to me, with the knowledge that I have, the small knowledge of law that I have, if you have like the beyond reasonable doubt, you don't even need a confession. You don't even need a confession. Confession is just there, but even if the person doesn't confess, if you have that evidence that is beyond reasonable doubt, it's easy to say, okay, you did this, the DNA is put on a fire. If you were there, right? Umuntu pointing out abantu beba friendly, they point out, and then maybe about can back point out. This DNA is bola fire. We understand all those things, but even now, I'm starting to ask myself, if this judge will be bound, because there's no way this judge can go on and say these confessions are admissible, because infringement that even a judge is bound. He cannot like run away and say and rule otherwise, because if he can do that, these defense they're gonna go and appeal. And I don't think that's what he wants to do, because even that recording, because of infringement that he sees, he cannot run away from.
Yes,
he was bound to make that ruling. It's not because of he was happy to do that ruling. Because of what? No, he was doing that ruling because of he was bound by the law to do so. Even now, I still believe he will be bound by the law, which those confessions are not admissible. You know, so that's what I'm thinking it's happening, and more questions than answers. And it's like a circus anyway. It's sketch, you know.
It's sketch.
From the school that when back in the day, the sketch is you know. At some point, feeling how to go this sketch, you know. When we can overlook as a senior counsel, how does he overlook infringement law section 35 on Ntanzi? How does it like overlook that? Because that alone, if that section is being infringed, there's no way the senior counsel can go on actually or to say no, this up the case. Yeah. You're supposed to say, no, we withdraw this case, we will go back and start afresh, and then the straight is into a solid. By now, infringement, not unless they will tell us which no, actually Ntanzi was appear like in front of
yeah.
Or maybe they're gonna start that because of COVID, it was COVID time, so that didn't happen. But even so, it's like that. I believe the courts were like waiting, not like COVID. The court were waiting, but we'll wait for him to go. So actually, it is still another explanation of that. What is the explanation of that?
Yes.
But as things stands, the way this is in court at the moment, I don't think it's there. If not, this case finishes now. The judge has to take a ruling. There's no judge, even if Okema something, there's no judge who can find those guys guilty. Because we spent the whole year circumstantial evidence.
Yeah, no.
You know? Something is like, you know.
Yeah, no. We hear you. We hear you. Thank you. Let us see what others are saying.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. I think I'm like to discuss, and then I will continue listening to you guys because we are listening, and yeah, thank you for the great job that you are doing.
Thank you. Right, just one announcement. Emily is out for now due to what she's going through. But you are left with me, so keep the calls coming. We will continue. We are people who are a bit stronger, so we'll continue until we feel that the time is right for us to close. I wish the judge also asked the interpreter what color was the suit the lawyer was wearing. She probably would have said something different from the magistrate. You reckon? Yeah, that's someone who believes that. These questions are selective. Mzansi, hello. Mzansi, hello. Can you please the background? Can you please switch it off? Okay, right. Let's give you a chance to do that while we continue. So the evidence of today, the last part, the police, that evidence is just crazy. I don't know how. Zanzelo.
Hello, Mr. and Emily.
Hi, sir.
I'm good. I'm a first-time caller. I've been following your show and it has been interesting.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So I think this case, I got so invested to a point that my wife thinks I'm not giving them fight anymore because it's very interesting. I learned so much from your show.
Yes.
And just today, just yesterday,
yes.
I think it was last week, you mentioned something that I saw today and Shololo challenged it. And it was basically for Judge Mokwateng and who's that advocate Baloi taking up to the Miss Cronje. And I find it very disappointing that in so many years of law, like I feel Mokwateng feels he knows law better because he was in the apartheid years. But things have changed. And they need to understand. It is so sad that for a certain period, they've been interviewing black people, but no one, I have never heard Baloi talking their language. Even they are Africans, and for them to support it, I find it very challenging that maybe the state is working with the judge. They just want to get these guys to jail for no reason. And one other thing that I've noticed with this case since I've been following it, it's also that even the magistrate couldn't help the poor guy who was just explaining himself what is happening at 8 days without getting a pass and whatever, but nothing was done. And I don't think it was for him to expose what the police have done. I mean, under pressure, if someone doesn't give you that comfort of you expressing yourself, even after explaining certain things, you'll always have that mind of not believing in the person that is handling the case, that your statement will be listened to, and also your views will be listened to.
Yes.
So I don't think this, and one biggest mistake that's crazy. He used a cover, what do they call it? CYA, cover your ass, kind of like, because she could see that scenario was not normal. And she did that thinking she won't get herself in the mud. She will have that video, that recording as a ticket out of this. But little did she know, more involved than the rest of them.
Yeah.
Like the Gitas and the Spears and everyone else.
Yeah.
And I feel sad for the guys because they just been coerced to agree, but they have not done.
Yeah.
From watching this case, I think from the police, how things were handled, they're just totally out of place.
Yeah.
And I think maybe with your show, it gives hope to some of us that people are watching, people have got views, and it will be interesting to see how this Judge Mokgatleng is going to execute this one. Because now trial within the trial, it's interesting. It only gets complicated.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think keep on doing the good work. I want to give other people a chance.
Thank you.
And thanks for getting to the line for the first time.
Thank you
very much.
Welcome. Thank you. Right. Not only, are we dealing with the situation of this court? We are also learning how to deal with these situations in case we face them. Mzansi, hello.
Hello.
Sikhona njani?
Good. Yeah, no, I also want to say a few things. You know what is happening in that case, in that trial. It's very sad. Very, very, very sad.
Yes.
And it's also scary and disturbing for us, public, to see which our justice system is doing what it's doing. You know, if there's a conspiracy, which personally I believe there is. You know, I feel like I'm watching a Prison Break, where there's a conspiracy, but they are saying someone did it, and they're making sure that it's big no matter what.
Yes.
It's very sad that they're not even hiding it. The judge is so clear. He's making sure that he is involved in that case, making sure that he's supporting the state, making sure that he's supporting the witnesses, which is something that is disturbing, you know, because the judge is supposed to be a person that is listening to the case. Then after listening to the case, he would be, hello?
Yeah, no, I'm here. I'm just giving you time. Yeah.
Okay, no problem. Yeah, he's supposed to be listening to the case and,
yes.
You know, taking both sides and saying at the end of the day, you must come up with a judgment. But Judge Rata is a total opposite of that. He's making sure that he's hyping up the state and doing wrong things, hyping up the witnesses on doing wrong things. And on top of that, now our interpreter is also doing the same thing. Now he feels like he's also he has a big role that he has to play to make sure which is the case.
Yes.
He also misinterprets a lot, that guy. He's confident on his presenting or interpretation, but he misses a lot of things. There's something that lady said, which she was saying, I think, she said something and she said, I think he did that. But when Jonas interpreted,
I caught that. I caught that too.
You caught that as well.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ahmed. He didn't say he thinks. He just said
he put it exactly the way it was. Like he removed the I think part. Ngiyacabanga. He just went straight to say this is what happened.
Exactly, which was going to help the defense to say, "Oh, you're not sure."
Yes. So they didn't pick. They didn't pick that one up because even the interpretation, as much as the interpretation was like, I think. The interpretation was like it happened. While
it happened
in the original source, it says I think. She did that twice. She said I think twice. Yes.
And it's not only this witness. There's a lot of other witnesses that Mr. Jonas will never interpret. He will interpret like he's also helping the state to win the case. But the state case is still going on. According to my understanding, I'm subject to correction on this one. That after the state is done, it will open for the defense now to call their own witnesses. Then I'm sure on that one, that's where we'll be seeing more progress. Because at the moment, we're just watching, as the other caller called, just two callers before me.
Yes.
He was also saying that he's watching a sketch. I'm watching a series. I'm just seeing a prison break here. Michael Scofield is trying to prove his brother is innocent. You know, he trapped in the area. It's very sad. Yeah.
No.
The worst part in the just on my last is what I was saying.
Sure.
They are not hiding it. That is very scary.
No.
You know, let's give others a
Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah, that is what is scary. The arrogance, confidence in what is happening. That is what is scary. Not the issue of what is happening itself, but the arrogance and the power that someone would portray in this. It is scary. That's what I mean. If you happen to steal sugar and you get caught, you are expected, I mean, as a kid, you are expected to leave that thing from leave it, just run and do swabe, bashonjalo. There's no such in this world now. In South Africa, there's no such. Mzansi, hello.
Hey, Mr. Anonymous, how are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you?
I'm okay. I'm sorry for Emily to leave in, but yeah, it's all right.
No, we're making sure that everything goes well with her. There's nothing wrong. We're just making sure that everything goes well with her.
Oh, thanks.
Yes.
So, as I'm watching this thing, there is something that is happening with the state.
Mm-hmm.
Every time when they bring witnesses, they don't bring all witnesses to collaborate their story.
Yes.
They will bring at least two that they have confidence that they will come and tell the story. And looking at the evidence of the magistrate, the interpreter, and this gentleman, the lawyer.
Yes.
There is no way in hell they can bring that lawyer to defend.
You want them to bring the lawyer?
There is no way in hell they can bring him.
No, they're not, because I mean, if they were to do that, there are a lot of things that they will need to prove.
It's a suicide if they were able to bring that guy.
Yeah, they wouldn't dare to do that.
Because I so wish and pray that the defense, when they come to the defense to present the case, they need to show that there is no communication between themselves and that lawyer. And for him to come and present Untanzi, he should have been called by Untanzi or the family of Untanzi.
Yes.
So that's why they can't bring that lawyer, because they can't bring that evidence to show that it was called.
Not only that, the appearance, did he even appear anywhere?
No, it didn't come, and even that person doesn't exist. That's what I think. Because even the judge, the magistrate, she didn't take the details of the guy, so that because if they were to attach those details to somebody, it was going to become a real thing, and it was going to be someone to come.
Yes, there's going to be a problem.
Because now who to someone? No one that you can summon now, because the person doesn't exist. And I think that a reasonable judge, a judge that can rule on this case, you can see at this stage there is no case here in terms of the confession. There is no confession that happened. Everything just happened the way it happened, and those guys were forced to sign. And even in Ngomulu, this new lawyer, I was happy when he separated the pointing out and the statement itself, because those two are two different documents.
So, what do you make of this Rambo police who's on the stand right now, who's saying that everyone was afraid to confront this guy who has no previous cases, by the way. He went in there to deal with the situation.
It's going to be nailed tomorrow. Believe me, every time they bring a witness, their case is going. It's going to be shaky. Tomorrow when it gets to be cross-examined, believe me, it will be difficult for him to answer because there are a lot of things that he said today that they don't make sense to me as I was looking at it. As Emily also said that you are there being arrested for a different case because you're being taken to court for pointing. You're pointing what? But believe me, tomorrow when they come, and I'm happy that they had to pause so that they can start tomorrow.
Yes.
So it will give them time to analyze the testimony. But I'm worried about one thing. These guys, they don't look like they're working as a group, man. I'm so concerned about that the police is silent in this case. I believe that it can put a lot of work. Or maybe, I don't know, but I wish man could come and help.
No, Mnisi, don't worry, Mnisi is there. For me, I think Mnisi is there. What is happening now? We are dealing with issues that requires people who are specializing in that. And what they've consistently done, these lawyers, more so the middle ones, they know when to stand up and when not to stand up. And by them not standing up, it simply says that the issue is exhausted.
I was happy about Mshololo. I might have said a lot of things about it in the past, but the point he emphasized today was very much important to make the judge, I saw even the judge, it was doing, when they show him on there, he was doing those things of him looking like a surprise when the magistrate speaks. Because he said that, yes, it's true that there were irregularities.
Yes, very good. You see, with Mshololo, I'll be honest with you. Mshololo is like Kaizer Chiefs. I'm sorry, Kaizer Chiefs fan. It's a win today. It could be a losing day tomorrow. There are issues. What I'm trying to say is the timing. You want Kaizer Chiefs to win on the tournament. They don't. They go win one game in the league that they're not gonna win. So this is what happened. Mshololo stands up. It talks about the issue now, and you are happy. Today I was happy. You are correct in saying that I was happy. But is she learning the timing when to stand up and when not to stand up? We're on an issue that is on an edge, where you feel like if you push it further, it can actually reverse the whole work. Don't stand up there. But on an issue where you want to make sure that you put a stamp in saying that this happened, then stand up there. Today, it was the right call for her to stand up. More so considering that other lawyers didn't stand up. I'm happy with that. But is tomorrow, when tomorrow comes, and then it's a situation where you have really guys fight and push that person and put that person over the edge to fall. And then Mshololo comes back with the questions that are seemingly just turning or reversing that whole thing. It's a timing for me, for her. If she can learn timing, when she's a defender, basically. She's a finisher, not a defense, she's a finisher. She must learn when to stand up and finish and when not. When the finishing has been done by the defenders, let it be. Let the defenders have that glory. Not all the time you need to put the rubber stamp on everything. Some of the things, just leave them like they're hanging, creating that confusion. But Mshololo, most of the time, she stands up. And that's where I have a problem. Because some of the issues, you realize that this person can actually twist this thing there's a small margin between twisting this thing back and reversing everything. And there you don't stand up. You leave it like that, creating that confusion.
Yes, I get that, but I think she's learning because even to listen to Emily yesterday, she mentioned something like there is no need for lawyers to come and ask the very same things that were asked by the previous lawyer. Touch on the new evidence or certain things that you want to emphasize a point on.
Yes, do like a highlighter. You're highlighting.
Yes, you're highlighting. Like what the judge normally does. They need to ask questions in that manner. What the judge normally does in trying to help the state. Now, when they need to pick up facts
But
where
the judge, that's a bad example. The judge is putting a rubber.
Yeah, I mean, the judge is doing that to support the state. But they need to find something to support the defense.
The judge is putting a rubber. Yeah. I like what Msholo does and sometimes in highlighting. It's like you are writing in bold. Just look at this, look at that, without saying look at that. It helps a lot. Like today, it works wonders. 110%. I like it.
But because other thing I saw with the judgment, the judge tries every time to forget the truth. So when someone comes and puts those rubber stamps on those truths, I think it's good because this judge he likes to forget the truth.
Yeah, conveniently.
Even the judgment, I laughed before the verdict was given when he started by complaining, saying that it was wrong for the defense to say he could not listen to the recording.
Yeah.
But when he gives the judgment, he's saying that the recording it was not taken the right way. So
yes. But yet he still wanted to listen
to something that was not done the proper way. So what are you saying?
The same way this confession was taken, more so the one of Dan's, Dan's, right? It screams a lot of wrong things that were done, and if there's consistency in that court, that statement must be scrapped.
No, it won't work. Even if the judge was to rule in favor of the state, they're going to appeal, and believe me, the judge won't come back alive on that appeal.
Yes.
Because the nice thing about it is that for 48 hours lapse, the person was never brought to court. And even after the confession, he was never brought to court. It took almost a month before he was brought to court.
Yes.
So that alone, someone who confessed under that circumstance, that confession cannot be used in a court of law.
Okay.
That alone. They can come, those ones that indeed confess. We're not disputing whether he confessed or not. We are dealing with the confession itself was done in line with the law. So we're no longer dealing. I saw the judge is trying to say the interpreter cannot tell lies and all the stuff and whatever she says regarded as the truth. Let's agree it's the truth.
Yes.
What did the interpreter say? But the point is, that confession, when it was taken, was it lawful or not? It was not lawful. Because the guy spent 8 days and he complained to her that it's been 8 days being arrested. I don't know why I'm here. That's why I came before you.
Yes.
8 days later.
Yes.
That then you continue and take a confession.
Yes.
It is a must that in that 8 days, a lot of things might have happened. We don't even have to go there. The Lord itself says that 8 days elapsed, then release the person.
Yeah.
So they need to take him on appeal. You won't win this one.
No, let's hope. Remember, the state is swimming on money. On the other side, donations are now and then requested. So let us see what happens.
Yeah, let's see then.
No, thank you very much.
But thank you very much for this channel, because it helps us to understand things. It's just that sometimes when I look at South Africans, sorry to take long, when I look at South Africans and their comments, it pains me to see South Africans commenting in the manner which they're commenting.
Yes.
This will be people of Ubuntu, people who love even the person that you don't know. But it looks like everything to us is like when someone is drowning, we are shooting a photo. You don't care about anything that's happening around you. It's so painful.
It is painful, but thank you. Thank you. You have said a mouthful, because that's what I've been battling with South Africans. With South Africans, if you have been at some point wrong and you have been, even with the issue of Jub, it's just not something that a lot of people, if you were wrong at some point, and goes to male actually. There's this group that believes that if you are a male and you've been wrong, then that's a problem. You will always be wrong forever. There is no really forgiving for that matter. There is no forgiving. It is done. You are rotting in jail for that. why should you be taking other people's cases on top of that just because you have a stigma? And does that, my question is, does that minimize the problems that we have? No, it does not. And that's where I have a problem. Because by you saying that I would push a certain case to Emily because Emily has done 1, 2, 3, you are leaving the perpetrator outside most probably.
Yes.
So that person has a chance of doing that thing again. As long as they don't get caught, the only sin of these ones is that whatever that they did in their crimes, different crimes, they got caught.
And
therefore,
serving sentences.
They were painted in this color. So when you're saying that you're looking for justice, and people are saying, this one's better like that. I mean, should we be rolling like that? Isn't that creating problems? Because then we are saying people must learn to be to do whatever that they do and not be caught.
Not be held accountable.
No, not be caught. If you are not caught, no one will paint you with a certain color. You are only painted with a certain color if you've been caught in what you are doing. And then therefore everything falls on you. And hence we have the situation of people who can just go to the police station and simple lie and say, this man did this to me. Because certain men decided to go and do certain things that are not Ubuntu or not right to women, then generally they are believed. And in my own feeling and my own submission, this is what we are going through with this case. Even though people see that there's no DNA, even though people see that there's a loop, there's a hole. I mean, there is an issue of this police that is testifying now. Where have you had police being afraid of a prisoner?
Oh, but the part where they say
this is someone who's not in maximum prison, right?
Yes, he wasn't. He just got arrested.
And where have you had the police being afraid? And we are expected to believe that and eat it up and say, this man was brave. This man decided to go fetch him himself. We are expected to believe that many police that were there in that police station, they decided to distance themselves. Didn't they distance themselves because they were afraid that whatever that was done to that boy might come back to haunt them?
You know, that's another element.
Didn't they distance themselves because they didn't want to get involved with whatever situation that has happened to this boy? And they said, no. Isn't this in fact collaborating this Ntanzi's story by saying I was taken to Fosloras, I was done things there, then I was taken to the other police station where then I had to then do a confession. When you reach that police station, those people are like, no, we're not touching this person. What made them say that? Perhaps. In fact, if we're looking for justice, why aren't we going there and say who was on duty that day? And bring that person there and say, why, all of you guys, why did you refuse to take this person? Isn't it your job as a police on duty to do that? Isn't it your job? Aren't you supposed to do that? If you are afraid of criminals, then you might as well go home and chill. I agree. This person was treated as a criminal. You all of a sudden, when you are afraid of criminals, is that how we roll now?
Yeah,
So Mr. Anonymous can be just scary and then all of a sudden, I don't know, I don't see anything scary about Ndans. Maybe I can be scared of accused number 5.
Well, it's we are the one that they're talking about.
Do you understand? But I don't see anything scary about that man. He's a boy, in fact.
And even with accused number 5, what makes him scary is what
we have had. On a normal day, you come across that man. You won't be afraid of him.
Wouldn't. But once you hear of what he has done, then you are afraid. You're like, yo.
So I don't get this situation of, hey, we are afraid of so and so.
Hi, South Africa, guys. Yo, a lot has gone left. I don't know what's gonna happen with this case, but already I'm stressed. I'm like, yo.
Mzansi, hello. Mzansi. Siyaphila njani se?
I think two few issues. If you remember the song that says "We don't need it," I think as South Africans we took that song like literally. We don't question nothing. We don't.
Sure.
Yeah, we just like okay, we don't need it, and if you look at this case, yeah, yes, man. If you look at this case, so many questions. But there are people who are like, oh, yeah, they are guilty, so what? You know, the new witness comes in, they don't question nothing. The state brings a witness to collaborate or to speak to say it's normal to do something wrong. They bring a witness to collaborate there. People don't question that because it's just who we are. We just accept everything that's owed to us. We don't ask more questions. And that's unfortunate as South Africa. But also, if we look at this case, has also opened the eyes for most of us. You know, this Criminal Act of 1979.
Yes.
If you think of it, back in 1979, the whole thing was just about punishing black people, and so this Criminal Act is still here. As a result, right now we're sitting with this confession, which has no specific criteria. This is how a confession is taken. The judge records people without their consent. Somebody else takes fingerprints. Somebody else has interpreter and witnesses. Somebody else don't have interpreter. Somebody else takes pictures. Somebody else don't take pictures. It's a whole mess. It's a wishy-washy, like you said. But it's a whole justice system in this country.
Yes. No.
Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's just
I hear you. So we have scholars, though. We have people who are learned, who went to varsity, who are doctors. Why is it difficult to fine tune and create perhaps law that seek to cater for Africans, South Africans? Because
the evidence is just in this case to what happened today. When the defense stopped the prosecutor from speaking up guns because he was trying to please her. So your question, the answer to your question is that we've been trying to please the court. Even almost 30 years later, we keep kept their constitution intact. So that we can say if we both we still please with you. We keep check your constitution.
Yes.
There's just no way in South Africa with the technology we have that the confessions and interviews by the police are not recorded, and that's not an acquired done. It's just no way. We shouldn't be having something called a trial within a trial. It's just BS. It's just a waste of time. Because if these interviews are recorded, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be here. But they are not recorded, and the public this is what we're expecting. So are you guys saying that we're not recording? No. So tomorrow they're gonna come in and say he went to point out stuff in the house. There will be no video. There'll be just pictures, and they're supposed to believe them.
Exactly.
So is this really the justice? Yeah, is this really the justice for the country and for the benefit of the victim, or it's just in 1979 that we're supposed to do?
And then we hear these people looking to this, and I don't know if you have noticed. This is my take. I have noticed that many rulings that were against certain things that were written about this law, those rulings that we refer to, most of them are done by people of no color. So those people are able to disagree with certain things. without fear or favor.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So then we get...
Yes, sir. So it goes back. Yes. Go ahead, Samson. Go ahead.
No. So then we hear them reciting them in court again, and it sounds like, oh wow, there's a judge that has done this. But if you do your research, you realize actually most of these judgments that are against certain things or certain things that are in law that are interpreted differently. Let me say interpreted differently. Most of them, they're done by judges of no color. If it's done by a judge who is of color, then we congratulate it. It's something rare, and that will be taken for review most of the time. But on the other side, we don't see many reviews for those things.
Yeah, yes, sir, we don't. Because if you look at it, their judgments are based on the 1979, which is why it was all to their criminal justice was just built around to punish a certain race. So their judgment was to make sure. Remember, there was a reference that the judge made that in all cases, when he said to punish a criminal. You cannot punish a criminal until the judgment is done. Nobody's a criminal until they are proven guilty. But if a judge can say that meant they knew they can say that back then. So we have a big issue right now. Then the issue is the whole criminal justice that we have. If they're telling us it's of 1979, that's right there is a big problem we have. That's why Mr. Balo is so confident about this whole thing, because at the end of the day, we're supposed to take the word of a police officer. We're supposed to take the word of an interpreter. We're supposed to take the word of a magistrate who is compromised. Everybody else is compromised, but the whole topic, this guy is supposed to go to jail over the word of somebody else with all the technology that is there.
No, I get you. I get your submission. Very sober. Thank you, man.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you. You see, exactly my problem. That's why I have a problem with law.
So, since we didn't get to see the pictures, I found a description of the pictures that were demonstrated in court. Okay, they're saying that he conducted the pointing out to this Ngosinati Hadebe of the scenes with Sibia, but before that he took some pictures of him. So photo 4 facing him with top clothes removed, and he is bare-chested to confirm he did not have any injuries on his body. The court has been shown multiple pictures of Sibia without a shirt, showing no injuries on his upper body. So he took these pictures to show that there were no scars on his upper body. I wonder how he got him to take his shirt off. So many strange things are happening with this case. So many strange things. You get arrested, you are stripped naked. A lot of things are happening.
How about bringing a doctor to examine
the internal injuries?
Do you know? How about doing that?
What happened to his lungs when they put that
to
plastic bag over his
give
head?
dignity to a person, then stripping me naked so that you can take a picture, which probably you know very well that they don't touch much of your body. Even if they do, they just hit your ribs and all those things while they suffocate you. Who's gonna see that if I hit your ribs, most of your ribs with the fist?
Obviously, they've got techniques. They don't leave scars in your body. I mean, that would be obvious.
And it's used in these days, in this day in age. We still use that system that seeks to undermine the dignity of a person. So everyone is checking that man in that court, half naked.
They were looking at pictures of him half naked with his shirt off. So why did you take those pictures? Did you anticipate what was going to happen in court?
So
what was the reason?
So if this is a procedure, then Cronje should have done that too.
No, I don't understand why.
No, I'm saying let's say this was a procedure to prove. then Cronje should have done that too. Where are the pictures coming from, Cronje?
Instructed him to take off his shirt. Is that even legal, guys? Like, I don't understand. So many red flags with this case. There's just so many. There's a lot going on, and we are expected to not question it or to overlook it, or the police are doing their job. Your job is part of taking people with their clothes off in anticipation that they may accuse you of torture, and then you strip them naked, you take pictures of them half naked. What is going on in this country? Like, seriously.
They wanted him to be so this listener saying they went with him to see a cell and open the cell for him, yet he claims no one handed over the accused to him, but the whole thing was handed over. Those are contradictions between the Cronje and
this police officer.
No. He's her administrator. I call her administrator for the lack of a better word. The woman was testifying.
Oh, Motlapi.
The contradiction in the statement.
The interpreter. So that was very interesting regarding that, because that's what Hadebe said. He said that they opened for him. He couldn't name who handed over Sibiya to him. What police officer handed, because he's from Rustenburg. And it's very odd that he moves from Rustenburg to Alberton.
Same as this magistrate.
Like, there's so many weird things. What is so special about him that he had to be moved from Rustenburg to come and attend Sibiya's confession? What is going on? Like, I need someone to make it clear for me, because this is a lot of wishy-washy things, hogwash, happening in the SAPS. It doesn't make any sense.
And there is no, yes, indeed, Snintland, there is no proving when those pictures were taken. Maybe they were taken before or prior. It's not like you put yourself in the picture and say, voila, me and Emily, look at Emily. Emily is not beaten, by the way. You are the person who's taking the picture.
Yes. You are.
So you are not in a camera.
So now
there is no way of proving
needs
that.
To also query the device that pictures came from and look for it and see the dates and all of that.
But all this wastage that keeps on happening, who accounts for it? Who says, okay, this is the wrong arrest, or this is, who accounts for this? And why these people are keeping this case going? Because somewhere, somehow, Tifo pushed them so hard such that they ended up shooting themselves on the foot by saying that in case this case does not go through, then 375 will go through. So now, that is coming from, it comes from Ledwaba, right?
Yes.
Yes. So now, obviously, don't quote me on that. I think allegedly, I would say, just to be safe, DPP though. It comes from DPP.
Or is it Judge President?
That letter that was explaining the issues of 375, and remember at the beginning when there was a fight of, there is a case where Tifo revealed to us, there's a case that happened that seeks to arrest the investigator of what of case, is it case 636? Yes, that's something like that. So now we will drag this thing until Jesus come back. If we will ever come back. Just because we cannot go to 375.
What's the whole thing?
What is there? Let's say we go to 375 and we find out these people are acquitted and okay, nothing happened within the house and whatnot. Well and good, but let's go to 375. The same energy that we're giving to this case, wasting funds. This looks like a pre-trial. This looks like a junior investigator dealing with this case. As they were saying, that one of 375 was a junior investigator. In fact, this one looks more of a junior. It's like me who's not experienced with this thing.
There's a comment from Mommy who was saying the exact same thing. It seems like evidence has only been built up now.
Yes.
It doesn't feel like investigations have been ongoing since 2014.
So that person who comes and say, hey, this was a junior, what. Didn't this give you a junior vibes? I mean, the statements that are most, let me say, the solid evidence only came in 2023. And when you made this decision was what, 2020?
When it went on trial, it was 2021.
2021?
2021.
So there was no solid evidence other than the Zungu that came 2023, made a statement. And you still said this case is solid? With DNA disagreeing, or you didn't have DNA? You still say this case is solid? What did you use to actually say this case is solid?
When you made that decision that it's going on trial.
What was it that you used? You said, okay, this one, 375 is whacked. We don't even need to work with 375. It's useless. This junior wasted time.
Talks about the people in the house because that's where the case is. It's not with these police officers, and I have a feeling there's more coming who are trying to convince.
Hey, we're gonna reach 200.
That
someone might come and say, "Hey, I was in the air with an aeroplane. I saw this thing happening down there." I mean, we're at that stage now. Anything.
People who are far from the scene, the incident, they are the ones now testifying, and we're supposed to believe that there's a solid case that the state has. Without the people in the house testifying, the state, you don't have much to work with. I'm sorry, but that's
you only bring us
what's
Zandi,
happening.
You bring us Togo,
And
you
they
bring
were
us Dome.
invasive and very hostile.
And they come with arrogance.
They were very arrogant. They did not help your case.
And then you think that looks good.
Aye.
No remorse or whatsoever. No, nothing. I was there. Actually, I feel sorry because I was there. I feel bad. No such thing.
So this time
a lot of
around,
theatrical
375
acting,
needs
looking
to
like
come.
people.
I'm losing interest in 636. 636 is a mess. There's no direction. There's nothing happening. We want 375.
In all honesty, if I was Chief Justice, I would shut this thing down.
It's a waste of state money.
I would shut this thing down. Yeah, we are watching because, I mean, other people are still confused. We have people who believe 100% that
there's nothing much there. The state, there's nothing tangible. They can.
But in all honesty,
police officers
in a country that is running fine, such as what we call England, I'm sure this thing will be debated in a parliament by now.
Yes, because it involves the state money.
Do you understand?
Yes.
In a country that is running fine, such as your German and other countries.
And there's nothing. The more it keeps going and there's nothing. The more it keeps going, there's nothing. Money is going down the drain. Money.
Exactly.
So I don't understand why. And it's also sad for the accused. What happens when they run out of funds to pay their counsel? What's going to happen to them? When they say, I can't afford to pay Mshololo, I can't afford to pay Mgomezulu anymore, what will happen?
Then what will happen is what we saw with public protector. Then we are subjected to medical legal aid. That will say, no. Yazin, admit and say this was a.
They have no energy.
This was a mistake.
Those ones.
This was a mistake. You didn't mean to do it. They'll cut you a slap. Admit when. Where have you had a situation where a legal aid person went for a year in one case?
In a trial. And what I'm hearing is that Vele they are overworked. So they're given a lot of cases.
Can you imagine, even though that legal aid person dealing with Baloy, the NPA themselves?
With the ambushes, they don't have, unfortunately, they don't have How many court appearances does a legal aid lawyer have to do in one day? It's a lot. So they're not going to have energy for all of these ambushes. They're just going to sit and resign. So it's not going to work.
Oh, well, guys, I think it's time for me to cut off here before we even go further and speak before 10. And then, you understand?
Yeah, let's
We are in a democratic...
Let's hear what happens tomorrow.
We are in a democratic country, as they say.
But not
so I normally use my hand when I say democratic country. It's better that way.
Not necessarily.
You understand? So let me leave it like that. I don't want to say more. Need I become Zimdola.
Let's cut, guys. See you tomorrow. Siyahlangana futhi, same time, same place.
Thank you.